So today I would like to show you another Soldbuch story. This time it's to a famous German politician, post-war politician, who had quite an interesting career with around 188 enemy flights and around 1500 starts on an aircraft. So let's start it off like this. I can quickly show you the perfect picture in it. Really nice picture. This is a second issue Soldbuch we can see up here. Zweitschrift. Here in red pen you can see Fliegendes Personal. He was a pilot, so a flying personnel. Really nice here. You can see his awards on the pictures. So let's get into it. Stingl was born in into a Catholic family in 1919, and he was already an actual soldier by the time the war broke out. As I just said, this is the second edition. You can see here it was issued in November 1944 by Jagdgeschwader 400. Interesting unit, actually. They had flown the Messerschmitt 163 rocket fighter or rocket plane. Interestingly, I had found out online that he was serving there in around 1943. He got married in Berlin, was taking a semester at the Flight Engineer School in Berlin, WW2. And he was actually in the testing of the Me110. As you can see, that was cut short here. You can see his dates moving on in to 1945. Of course, his career picked up in a different way, and that I will get to in a bit later. Something nice I should show you right now. Look at his awards page, completely filled out. I'll go into these awards at the end of this video. This is just a brief skim through his Soldbuch. We can see some of his stuff that he was issued. Mostly just pilot gear, as usual. I think he had his own pistol also. Yep, there it is. Pistol at a caliber 7.65. Some serial numbers and stuff like that. So, let me get into his story a little bit in depth. I have his flight book here, which is quite interesting. FLUGBUCH in German. The FLUGBUCH is quite interesting because it shows you not only what type of flights, but what the aircraft was, what the aircraft marking was, and of course what unit, the time, and any sort of knowledge about what happened on that flight. In this book, it shows you that he flew this list of planes: Me110, Junkers 88, FI156, among others, a Focke-Wulf 190, a Ju-52. So quite an interesting array of airplanes that he had flown. This seems to be his third flight book. Sadly, we don't know where his other ones were. Here's his rank, Oberleutnant Stingl. And you can see the flights underlined in red already. This starts off 127. It was his 1090th flight. Was actually his 127th enemy flight. As you can see here, Feindflug Gorkaniev. That's an E. Gorkaniev. Yeah. So you can see then the time of the flight and some other bits and bobs. Also the type of plane. Here we can see Me110 with the marking 6MDL. And I can skim through this so that you can get a good look at it. Not often you see these. Here, look, for instance, something worthy of looking at. There was machine gun and light flak, also enemy Jaeger aircraft, so an enemy plane chased them down by the looks of it. Here you can see he was dropping bombs, bomb einsatz. There was also flak on those flights, again in a BF 110 with these markings. I'll actually put up a photo of that aircraft. I actually have a photo online, so I was able to actually spot his aircraft. It had a really interesting decal on the front of the aircraft. As you can see, I'll just go through a few of these. Lots of Feindflüge. Here we have 139. Some other interesting things. You can see he's been dropping a lot of bombs. As the war went on, he advanced into 1944 and was sent to a training school under Jagdgeschwader 109 as far as I remember, or 108. I will just quickly check. I have it wrote here. Yep, it was Jagdgeschwader 102. So he was flying the Arado aircraft, doing some training flights. Again, all these ones with a red line are against the enemy. Against the enemy flights. I'll just go down through. What else is interesting? Now here we go. Jagdgeschwader 102. It seems to be in Denmark. They were training him to do some other types of flying. It seems that he was shooting at a range of 600 meters, 400 meters, flying in all different types of wind, side winds, blah blah blah. And here is the most interesting one for me. This is the last entries. March 1945, he was with Gefechtsverband Weiss. And basically they were flying missions on the Eastern Front. In his case, it was mostly Eastern Prussia, modern day Poland. They were flying reconnaissance flights on the advancing Soviets, also trying to hit enemy aircraft and ground targets, as we see here, which is quite interesting. Durch zwei Jäger abgeschossen. Seems to be that he was shot down by 2 enemy fighter planes and survived, because we can see he was issued another aircraft just a bit later on. Again, these FLUGBUCHs are incredibly interesting. They go into a depth not really seen before. So that's his FLUGBUCH. What else do we have here? We have his promotion documents. These are the bigger versions, quite large. This is not actually signed by Göring. It's a rolled stamp or a printed one. What else do we have here? Some of his ex-commanders in 1945 talking about how good his service was. Yeah, and before we get to the end, I will quickly show you this piece of paper, which was very interesting because it details his awards. As you can see here, he won Iron Cross both classes, the Front FLUGBUCH, which is the flying clasp for reconnaissance, in gold. So he obviously had built up a lot of hours. He also won the German Cross in gold, the Crimea Shield, and of course the Luftwaffe Pokal, which was very prestigious. And here it's wrote under that he is recorded of flying 1,370 motor starts, of those 188 against the enemy. And then we've got 1 front flug, 1 enemy flight as a reconnaissance leader and watcher in the Ju-88, Messerschmitt 110, and this is the Fiesla 156. So a very interesting grouping, a lot of awards during the war. He actually went on to be quite a famous German politician, and he was the German Minister for Work, CDU member, died in 2004. If you Google this guy, he comes up everywhere on the internet. This guy was a super famous German politician for around 20 years. I think that's it. That's this one for now. Interesting Soldbuch. Again, guys, this video doesn't condone any Third Reich policies, anything like this. This video is purely for historical purposes and archiving purposes and historical purposes. We do not support Nazism, so YouTube, it would be nice if you do not delete our videos. That's it, guys. Thank you. Come on over and join us. There's 1.7 thousand members on there. A decent admin team, loads of knowledge collectively among the members and the admins. It's pretty easy to find if you type into the search function on Facebook, Soldbuch, Verpass and Documents Research Group. It'll come up under the groups section. If I was to scroll down here, you'll see the only thing we really need to abide by is the fact that all symbols have to be covered up on Facebook. They don't have any offensive symbols, as they call it. So all posts are approved. That's it from me, and I hope I can bring you some value in the next video. Thanks.